Hello YouTube, this is Those Who Stay U of M, and I'm going to compare the Sennheiser HD558 modded, foam mod, there's also a modification here that doesn't affect the sound, and the Philips SHP9500s. Now these ones right here, the Philips, have been talked about a lot on the internet. I've heard everything from just a really great all-around budget headphone to better than an HD600. The former I can sort of jump on board with, but the latter is a little bit, beyond sanity. But let's just start off with build quality. So I've talked about build quality on these before, and if you want to go to my official review on these, I basically talked about how they need to be modded. But in terms of build quality for these, they're all plastic. Everything. There's nothing that isn't plastic on these headphones. This top part here is made of velour, as well as the cups here. The pads are also velour. Over here, we have, again, a lot of plastic, but as you can see, this headband adjustment is metal, and it's metal throughout the headband. It's not so durable because, again, like this top part is plastic, but underneath, like inside of it, there's metal. So like it is possible this could crack, but it wouldn't absolutely destroy the headphone. It wouldn't make it unwearable by any means, especially because right here, this is separated, and it's meant to be separated because it'll provide better comfort. This will form to your head. Once it's stretched out, you can see how the opening there expands. So even if this does crack or something, it's still a very functional headphone. But as far as I can tell, the build quality on both of these headphones is fairly good. One major difference in at least the materials, not only does this have metal here, but this padding here, as well as this padding, are not velour. It's definitely a cheaper feeling material. It's soft to the touch with your fingers. When it's on your head, it does feel a little bit prickly, a tiny bit prickly. And if you don't shave your sideburns and stuff, or you have a beard like I do, that kind of like extends down below your ear, it might be a little itchy there. This padding here, it kind of feels like, okay, so this is very soft over here. Like a stuffed animal, like a really, really nice, expensive plushie that you would buy at like Disney World or something that would cost you like 30, 40 bucks, okay? Or maybe even upwards of 100 depending on the size. But it's like a really soft and squishy and nice feeling. This, on the other hand, the padding itself feels like the inside of it feels like it would be padding from a stuffed animal that you would get at a county fair. I'm being kind of mean. It is a little bit nicer than that, but it's just not nearly the level of softness as over here. And inside here, you can't really see it, but it is hollow, this plastic here, so this may be prone to cracking, especially if you drop it or sit on it or something. In terms of weight, I actually do believe that the Sennheiser HD558s are a lighter headphone than the Philips SHP9500s. In terms of comfort, I think we've already gone over a little bit of the padding on the headband and what it feels like here. I would say that the Sennheiser HD558 is a more comfortable headphone. These, the prickliness of them a little bit, your ears touch the insides of the drivers. Everyone's will, not just mine. Like, I can't, even a small child's, they will. They do touch it. It's not like a painful experience at all by any means, but it's just not going to be as comfortable as having your ears fully suspended inside of the cups. It's just not going to be as comfortable because your ears don't touch anything inside of here. Now, if your ears stick out a lot, you can see that there is, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, this little piece here on the inside. Your ear might barely touch that. Especially if you're wearing these for a long time, the pads will start to compress after like maybe a year, and then your ear might touch this right here, the back of your ear. But in no way is that as much contact as you get with these, because these pads just aren't deep enough, and your ear will touch the inside. The holes here are smaller slightly than the holes here. Like this ear cup, this is the biggest. I don't know, these are like HD 800 sized. They're huge. This is huge. So that's something to consider. But for me, this material is just so much nicer and so fluffy and soft, and this headphone disappears on my head. This one will too, until I start thinking, oh, it's kind of scratchy, or oh, this material just isn't as nice. So comfort wise, since they're both light, they both don't give me any sort of problem on the top of my head at all. So I have to give it to these for comfort. In terms of sound, it's kind of a mixed bag. It kind of depends on what you're using the headphone for. They're both great for gaming. I modded it so that I could use this microphone. This is an adapter. That little metal thing right here is an adapter. And unless you open up these headphones, take out the locking mechanism, buy a $5, the price changes, $1 to $5 adapter, get the adapter to work, because I had to send this back twice and get a replacement because they just kept being intermittent. I finally got one that works, and it works flawlessly, but that's a pain. Now this will actually work with it, because this is a 2.5 millimeter typically. This converts it from 2.5 to 3.5, and then this is a 3.5 male end. So that's a pain in the butt. This headphone is standard 3.5, no adapter needed, as you can see. This will plug directly into here just fine to make this a gaming headset. Since this is about a $60 headphone at the time, this is going to run you about $30 for this mic, so you're talking about a $90 headphone. Or $90 headset, gaming headset, and it sounds great. It sounds great for gaming. The bass is pretty light on both of these. The bass is pretty light. The bass is a little bit heavier on this one than it is on this. It hits harder on this one than it does on this. I think this one might be a little bit tighter, just a tiny bit tighter, but you can't really hear it all that much. You can't hear the tightness unless you EQ it. And I did a lot of EQing to try to figure this headphone out, because this headphone kind of baffled me, and I'll get to why later. But when you EQ the bass up, it doesn't really distort all that much. You can EQ this thing up like about 6 or 7 dB at around 32 hertz. Like, you can boost it 6 or 7 decibels, and then it doesn't start distorting until like around 8 or 9. So I would definitely suggest EQing it if you're not using it for gaming. The reason why I really like this headphone for gaming is because the soundstage is quite a big difference from here. The big difference is in the imaging of this headphone relative to this one. When you're moving, things are passing from left to right or side to side. It's a lot more fluid in that motion. This one, it kind of jumps a little bit. Like, it'll start here and it'll go like, you can hear it, and then it'll kind of just like, there's a big chunk, and then you'll hear it over here. And by chunk, I mean like it's missing. There's sound that it just kind of like jumps across your face, the sound. Like moving. And then all of a sudden the sound will jump over here, moving. It's very odd. But anyway, in this one, the sound kind of just like, it's more fluid. So I would say the soundstage and the imaging is, this beats it. So if you're looking purely gaming, this is the one you want. It won't require any serious modifications in order to make the Boom Pro work. And the Boom Pro is the nicest headphone attachment. It's better than the Mod Mic, because the Mod Mic will have 2 cords and it's just a pain in the butt. Screw that. So this, gaming, Boom Pro, thumbs up. However, when you start watching movies or you are listening to music, there are serious problems with this headphone. It sounded grainy, and I can tell you why. The instrumentation, it wasn't so much in the vocals, but it was like in the instrumentation. There's like a grainy quality to the lower treble. It's the mids to treble transition. And the reason why is because there's this big dip in the response at like 5K. Well, it's too high at 5K, and then it drops down at 6, and it just falls off a cliff. So you have to like really lower it at 5K and boost it at 6. But overall, yeah, it solved it to some extent. It didn't solve it entirely. Over here, it's a way better sounding headphone. It just is. In terms of music, the bass is more present. It's a more refined bass, like a textured. It's more textured bass. than this one. This one's a little bit punchier, I feel, in my opinion. This one's a little bit more punchier, but it's recessed more, and it isn't textured. It isn't as refined of a bass. So I like the bass here better. I love the treble here. It rolls off at around 10K, the treble here, whereas this one, it stays for above 10K. But I don't care because it's just so much more refined. There's no grainy, and even after EQing, I still got a little bit of grainy. This one still sounded better. So both of these have great mids. Both are great, and that's why this is so good at gaming, is because the mids are so perfect, just like this one. So in terms of sound quality, it's a catch-22. To summarize, which one should you get? It kind of depends on the prices. If this is $60 and this one's like $100, then you have to go with this one. I think right now on Amazon you can get this one used for $80. And since the ear pads come off, I would suggest buying this one used for $80 and then trying to deal with these mods, because this one's gonna sound better and it's gonna be more comfortable. I would actually go for this one and mod it with this adapter with the Boom Pro. If you can get this for $80, all you have to do, used, get it for $80. Take off these ear pads. When you go to clean your clothes in the washing machine, when you go to use do the darks, throw these ear pads in with it. Just take them off, throw them in the washer with all your clothes, and then once it's done, take them, throw them in the dryer with all your clothes, and they're gonna come out smelling like fresh laundry. They're gonna be really fluffy and nice. I've done it. They smell great, and it's like having new pads on here. So you almost have a brand new headphone, even though you just bought it used. It only costs, if you buy this used, it only costs $20 more than this one, and you get better sound, better comfort. Slightly worse build quality, maybe, but I would go with this one. Even for gaming, this is definitely a really great headphone, even though it does kind of jump on you a little bit. This is definitely not better than the HD600. It's definitely not even better than the HD558. So, in terms of sound quality, the sound quality. So anybody that's saying that this is like the be-all end-all for sub $200 headphones, I don't know what they're smoking. Like, no, it is not. But as a very competent gaming headset, that's what this is. That's what this is. So, thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, and I hope you guys found it useful. All right, thanks. Have a good one.